All right, we are going to get things started. I am calling to order District Advisory Board for December 4th, 2019, District 3. Welcome everybody that might be watching on the internet. Please type in your questions and we will try to get them answered if we see them. And we will see them. We are monitoring them. So if we don't get to them right away, we are not ignoring you. Has everybody had a chance to see the agenda for the December 4th meeting? Does anybody have any questions, corrections, additions?
About the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, on the new business.
Yes.
On the very first paragraph, I went, it says north of East Mount Vernon Road, which I understand, and a quarter mile east of South Woodlawn. Isn't that property west of?
Yes.
You're correct.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it should be.
So I just didn't know if that was any different.
It should be east of Edgewater.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can.
We can do that with minimal character changes.
But we've been fighting that issue for about 45 years, so.
All right.
Well, I thought
Correction.
Mount Vernon doesn't dead end of Woodlawn, but it doesn't go beyond. And I just.
So corrections are being made. Any other changes, additions, corrections, comments about the agenda today? If not, I would take a motion to approve.
Second, Ron Tracy.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Approval for the minutes for November 6, 2019. If everybody has had a chance to review the minutes, do we have any additions or corrections or a motion? We have a motion to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have no staff reports this month, but if you want to know what the Wichita Fire Department and Wichita Police Department are doing in your neighborhoods, please attend your neighborhood meetings. They do go to most of those. No public scheduled items, no off-agenda items, and we are to new business. We have a PUD 2019-14. We have Dave Year out here to go over the zoning change. Dave, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. Councilman, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Early Merry Christmas to everybody. I heard Christmas music tonight on the way in. So. This PUD case is a request by Make ICT, and I'm sure many of you probably know what they do. And I'm not going to go through that story, but they have recently acquired the former Booth Elementary School. That's on East Mount Vernon, and you're correct, it's between Edgewater and Woodlawn. So on the north side of Mount Vernon, and it previously was acquired by a church who got it from the school district. I don't have memorized the exact dates, but within the last year or so, I think we contracted work, everything on that. And in order, and Jen and some other folks from Make ICT did come in and talk with us about the zoning it was going to take to really kind of accommodate the operations that they will put into that school. We've had a number of schools, probably as you know, older schools within the city that the school district has left, put up for sale. We've had a number of them have been converted to other uses. This was one that really, I think, is turning out to be a very good transition from an elementary school to what Make ICT does. And I'm going to not steal their thunder. I'll let them talk about what they're doing. But Planning Commission has held a public hearing on this. You've got outlined in your agenda packet the staff report and what we talked about. And the final decision from the Planning Commission recommending the approval was by an 11-0 vote. And that will go to the city council here in a couple of weeks for final consideration. But the thing that they did ask to modify off what we had put in our recommended action was to modify in the parking requirements that they be allowed to provide all weather type parking instead of paving and asphalt because of the cost. And Planning Commission did accept that. There was one other one, Jen, what was that? It was pretty, it was a signage issue, I think, or landscaping stuff. They asked for some relief on that, which we can do with the PUD, and the Planning Commission did accept that, and that's going forward. Really, other than kind of clean up, you probably won't see much difference on the site from the old elementary school. I think most of the things that they'll be doing is all interior work, which is, they've got a lot to do with that. Now, it probably means nothing to you guys, but there was an old plat that created that property when it was intended to be all just residential lots. And so the school building didn't really fit the plat. They had some old issues with modifying that, and the city through the years has also increased the drainage along Gypsum Creek that goes along, as you probably know, along the north and west side of the property. And those lines didn't match up anymore with what the old plat said, and there was all kinds of stuff. So there is a plat, a replat, that's actually working its way through the process and probably will end up at the city council at about the same time. All that will do is just replat it into a single lot, and it will match the boundary for the zoning case. We'll clean up all the easement issues and some old platted dedications that are no longer valid or needed. All that's going to be taken care of. There are no improvements needed for the streets or the other utilities of that nature. So it's just a matter of getting the legal documentation cleaned up so these guys can begin to remodel the building and move their operations into the facility hopefully soon. So that's kind of where we are on this. Planning Commission's vote was 11-0, as I recall, and we had no objections from any neighbors. I called, I had maybe 2 calls in the month before this went to hearing, and most of them were basically wanting to know what was happening, and we told them they were going, yay. And so no objections in that regard. So happy, any questions you got? Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm sure this is not the detail, but the way that it's laid out on the map, does the property go right up to the creek, or is there a space between?
No, there's a space between the creek.
Who will maintain that?
Well, it's part of the city's drainage system. So
The
it's.
stormwater utility
Yes,
maintains it.
it's
Yeah.
the city, stormwater utility.
Stormwater takes
Okay,
care
well,
of that.
we've had problems down southeast of Platte Park where the creek runs through private property, and they had to go in there and clean it out, and they had written permission from each land house that was there. I didn't know if.
Well, and a lot of that
Or
has to
we-
do with when that creek
It's up to
goes through.
Yeah.
You know, in state law, the only thing that private property doesn't own is primarily the Arkansas River
Okay.
and the Kansas River. Everything else is, even other rivers like the Moonstone, that's privately owned. And the creeks are too. Now, the exceptions are when, like, the plat was created, an original one, that was on the Ruth property as well as the neighborhood development that's right to the west. They dedicated a reserve to the public for that drainageway. And that became the city's ground with that dedication. And I'm sure because of time, modern changes in some of that drainage flow, there was additional land obtained by the city by separate instruments that drew lines in there, but they didn't match what was done on the plat. And so that's part of what's been cleaned up. So
Could you tell me what the definition of an all-weather surface is regarding parking?
it's primarily crushed rock
Okay,
and maintain, they're required to keep it weed-free and things of that nature.
which
As
is not,
opposed to asphalt or concrete.
which is not allowed at a used car lot. They have to be paved.
I'm not sure 100%.
I don't know.
And then one other question, I've heard people kind of complaining that somebody's got on them about parking in their yard when their driveway won't hold all their vehicles.
Yeah, they
And-
have to be,
And that,
well, and
and that the
some of
rock
that stuff
doesn't really
is-
satisfy them.
some of that stuff is modifying, and I'm not
Okay.
the expert to tell you on that, because part of the concern also goes back to the stormwater utility requirements and how the city handles stormwater, and part of that, if you pave it with a asphalt or concrete, you have full runoff into the storm system, where in theory, with the crushed rock, allow some of that water to seep down in and become groundwater. So you've got some less runoff theoretically. Now you're talking engineering stuff, but, and that's, we've
Well, the way they
had
make that-
some cases where we modified. I mean, we expanded parking around the Revolution development there
Mhm.
on Central, and the new parking lot they put there was done with an all-weather surface, which is essentially the crossroom.
When you talk about stormwater, that basically how they do that is they take the aerial photographs, and if there's nothing growing there, then they figure it's impervious, no matter whether it's rock or what, and you get billed for it.
Well, there
We
is,
do,
yeah,
as a
well,
matter of fact.
it's-
Oh, that's true.
it's evolving.
Well,
So,
that'd be a shock, but thank you.
yeah.
It's not that I'm
I didn't
opposed to
say-
the concept,
I didn't
it's just
say
a matter of,
yes.
does the rule apply in all areas?
As I recall, the ordinance says asphalt or concrete
Okay.
or other acceptable weather surfaces
Okay.
have been interpreted in that. And particularly within the PUD, we've got some latitude to provide relief there, and that's what they're
Okay,
doing.
once we get done with this vote, I'd like to ask you a question about where I get this information, but let's move on.
Okay. Any other questions here from our district advisory board?
What's the capacity of the facility,
Size-wise,
number of petitions in the facility at any one given time?
we did not get into that detail in.
Occupancy load.
through there.
Well, I'm leading up to the question. You got 21 parking places and one handicap. Don't we have a city ordinance currently now that the handicap has to be proportionate to the number of participants in the
There are standards in the building codes, and when they modify and take out the building permits, they'll have to address any handicapped or ADA facilities, and they're also aware that they can't use the gravel area. It's got to be paved for
That's what I'm
ADA.
looking for. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
On the second page, it says PUD specifically prohibits the following uses, so I'm not gonna read all of them. But I'm anxious to find out what they're gonna do there when I read all the things they can't do there.
Yeah.
So are they gonna make a report or give us some, I have no idea what.
Sure, yeah.
I see you.
Well, I tell you, what we'll do is we'll just, I don't know, David, are you wanting to,
I'll be happy to speak.
To
or
speak?
Jens.
either one of you guys?
Let's go.
Okay.
My name is David Springs. I'm the president of Make ICT this year. Make ICT is a nonprofit organization, and it's created for people who like to make things. What we do is we have no paid staff. It's all nonprofit. All the money goes to programs. We teach people how to make things. We allow people to do things like that, and we provide the equipment. So, for example, with the dues that members pay, we've purchased laser cutters, 3D printers. We have a small wood shop and a metal shop. We can do ceramics in there. We can do electronics in there. We can do jewelry making in there. And that's what we do. When people join, we teach them how to do all these things, and they go to town and do things. They just love it. Just to address the parking, just briefly, we have 400, last count is 406 members. But the way we're set up, we don't have everybody in the building at the same time. We don't have the typical meetings that you would see from any other nonprofit type group. Our members, when they join, they get a electronic badge that gives them access to the building, and then come and go as they please. So, for example, in our current facility, with 400 members, I was there this afternoon, and there were 2 people in the building. So it's very low traffic, and as far as the ADA goes, we do have one ADA stall that's
Yeah.
paved now, and have plans to make sure that we meet all the requirements of the building permit. Are there any other questions? We do have lots of kids around. We think it's an appropriate use for for a school. Last year, we taught 360 classes on different subjects. We plan on doing a lot more classes as time goes by. If you want, yes.
I was just curious, do you have, first off, I want to commend you. It sounds like this is a very worthwhile project and something that, we hear a lot of land use agreements or zoning change requests. They want to change the car lot. So I'm glad to hear this isn't a car lot. But how?
And we don't work on cars.
Oh, okay.
We do not allow that.
How old are you guys? When did you guys get started? And do you have any other facilities around Wichita that are currently up and going? Is this your first one?
We currently are located at 1500 East Douglas
Okay,
and in a 8,700 square foot facility.
so you're moving.
We're moving for space.
Oh.
The new place is 22,000 square feet.
1,500, the old quality Chevrolet?
No, it's right next door. It used to be the
Used to
jewelry
be.
supply.
Okay.
LJ Prop.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You're over by the Mount Rockets place.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they're 2 blocks up on that. I'm sorry, what was your question?
I'm sorry.
When did you start?
Oh, I'm sorry, yesterday was our 7th anniversary of becoming a nonprofit corporation, so we had a little celebration there. We have grown leaps and bounds. I think 2 years ago, we had about half the membership we have now. We started with 5 or 6 people, not very many.
Oh, no, there were about 10 of us maybe.
What's ICT stand for?
ICT is Wichita,
Wichita.
is the
Airport
call sign for
code.
Wichita. And we just put together with Make, because that's what we do, is we make things. So we do a lot of community outreach. We teach classes for the Girl Scouts quite frequently. We have days where they come over tomorrow night.
Yes.
You're gonna need some rest.
Mhm.
And we have, there is a scouting group that comes and meets at our place now. We do a lot of things for the neighborhood. We offer meeting rooms for, we have a rule that if you're going to have a meeting and you're not charging for it, we don't charge you for it. So if someone has a family reunion or whatever, they can come in and use the facility. Like I said earlier, we're hoping to have a community garden and open that up to the neighborhood. And so all of those things are available, and it's open to anybody in the city that wants to join.
How do you raise money?
Our members pay $25 a month dues. And that,
When you say members, you're talking about the people that are taking the program?
yes. We have people come in and we have a short process for joining. They attend an orientation. We make sure they have safety classes in the metal shop and the wood shop. And then any month that they want to be a member, they can pay their dues and be a member. Any month we're not like a health club where you're tied in for the rest of your life. If you want to build a birdhouse this month and you want to take 6 months off, perfectly fine. And with our electronic key system, it makes it easy to deal with that.
What's your age limits?
I'm sorry.
What's your age range?
Our minimum age for being a member, full member, is 16 years old. We can have guests that are younger, obviously. And then I think our oldest member is, how old is?
Mike's younger than I am. Careful.
Who was this garage burned down?
Let's just say retired.
Yeah.
Yes, about 90 years old is our oldest member, so. Like I said, we do lots and lots of classes. We let outside people come in and teach classes. We have a program. So our membership, our revenue comes from membership, from class fees, which are fairly low. If you want to learn welding, before we came along, if you want to learn welding, you had to go to a school somewhere. $30 to learn how to weld, TIG weld, MIG weld, and then come back and practice all you want. So it's very affordable for people. We have scholarships for people who can't afford $25 a month. So we're very, very open to new members.
Okay, you said your electronic key cards let you in any time. When they talk about the hours of operation, apparently the cards don't work when you're not open.
Actually, we're open around the clock. I mean, we may have one person comes in at 8 p.m. and stays all night because he works days. But we are confident that none of our operations causes any noise off the property at all. So you may see a car parked next to the building at night, but it's about all you're gonna see. And there's certainly no large amount of traffic at any time.
Now, are there any residential units in here for people? Like
No.
overnight or anything?
No, we don't, in fact, we don't even allow sleeping in, so.
And it looks
Just
like
trying to
on the
stop
bus
it.
line there, with being on the bus line, that
Sleep here.
people from all over the city.
Yes, absolutely.
Our initial startup was a grant, funding from Wichita Community.
Yeah, Wichita Community Foundation, the Knight Foundation, about 5 years ago, gave us a $100,000 grant, which bought us our wood shop, most of our metal shop, and one of our laser cutters. Since then, we haven't had much in the way of grants, and everything's been funded. Exactly.
Do you have a website?
We do. It's makeict.org, O-R-G.
And how does this relate to what was or is at the old Wichita Mall? What is Max Coles? They pretty much had a,
Oh, yeah, that's not,
office here or whatever. it was.
Yeah, they had, I believe they had a shared office
Yeah,
space.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't really offer that.
Okay.
We will allow people who want to be entrepreneurs to come in and design things, make things on a small scale, but there are really other groups that are better for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, we try to encourage the people who don't have room for a full wood shop to come in and get wood shops and stuff.
We have all the things I'd have in my garage if I had a bigger garage. And
That's what we all say.
It's pretty handy to be president, right?
It is
You
nice.
got a bigger garage and suddenly you got four.
so do we have any, yeah, go ahead.
So if I want to learn welding, it costs me $30
Yeah, it would.
and then 25 for the,
25 a month for a membership. You get a free safety class in the metal shop before you can take a welding class. And then we have separate classes, one's for MIG welding, one's for TIG welding, one's for stick welding. And they're 2-3 hour class, something like that.
Yeah.
And we have an expert who comes in and they're small classes, maybe 5-6 people.
No, I see acetylene.
No, not right now, we're not.
I don't understand that.
We have
We have torches and
We
we
have
have like a
torches and
small
stuff.
torch for jewelry, but
Okay.
we don't teach that currently.
Alright.
But yeah,
As long as fire department's cool with it, I don't care.
I'm sure they'll be visiting us. Right.
No, they gave up on you already.
Any questions?
Anybody from the public have any questions about Make ICT and their move over to District 3? Okay, well,
Since they make
yeah,
the
go, Catherine.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment from personal experience. I've attended a class and I wasn't a member, but it was great to be at the class. And then I had this other project I was doing and I went to Make ICT as a resource in the community. And there were experts in the different skills that I needed to pull off the project. And so different people contributed to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it was great to have all of these creative people and skilled people in one place that was just in the community that I could go to.
You're absolutely right. Make ICT is kind of a magical place because you go in there and all of these different areas of expertise kind of have a little synchronicity there and they kind of work together and you can use all different disciplines to make things. We also do a lot of charity type work ourselves. We recently did some work for a group that's called Magic Wheelchair. I don't know if you saw it on Channel 3, but there's a young man who's 13 years old. He was brain damaged at 3 from child abuse. And so he kind of stayed at that level, but all he really wanted was a fire truck that he could put on his wheelchair as a Halloween costume. So we built him a $2,000 fire truck on his wheelchair.
And by the way, that fire truck looked sweet. It was shiny, red, lights and everything. It was
Yeah,
pretty
we
cool.
went down to, he lives in a little town just over the Oklahoma line. The fire department there worked with us. They opened up the fire department, made him an honorary fireman and got all the trucks around, turned on the lights and got him a uniform and everything. It was fun. So we do that type of thing quite often.
So if somebody's wanting to get into the aircraft industry and they want to learn how to
Since you're a veteran, I'll
do sheet metal or welding or deburring or something, for $25, they can come and take a class from you and possibly get on the one.
We don't have really sheet metal type classes right now, riveting, that kind of thing. We're certainly open to it. We find an instructor who could do it. Absolutely. Come visit us. Absolutely. We do that. Sure.
That's kind of the way we operate is somebody comes in and says, hey, we really need to do some TIG welding. And, okay, go for it. And they develop it, they figure out what they want to do, and we have a place.
I've known a lot of younger kids that want to get into different aspects, and they just seem like there's no training in town without lots of money, college degrees and stuff. Yeah, it just sounds like interesting.
Micro would love it.
Yeah.
We really do consider ourselves a resourceful community.
Michael?
Yeah, you piqued my interest with laser cutter.
Okay.
How much one of those cost?
The last one we bought was about $7,000. I
Would it be
believe.
cheaper to spend $25 a month to come learn?
Exactly, yeah. Our first one was so popular, we bought a second one, so they're quite popular.
Which also somebody else is responsible for fixing it when it breaks.
And that's, that's actually a good way to train to do repairs too, because we maintain all of our own equipment. Each of our areas has what we call an area lead. We used to call them benevolent dictators, but they're
Yeah.
area lead, and they're kind of the expert in that field, and they coordinate repairs and classes and that type of thing, all unpaid.
As I said earlier, it's a great idea and everything, but do you worry about people with sticky fingers and, people or crime in the neighborhood or, do you worry about theft and things like that?
We don't really. Our new building has a decent camera system, so we can take care of that. But we also have a procedure for getting a key. We make sure that each prospective member meets 6 of our new members, gets a signature sign off to get a key. It doesn't have to take a long time, but at least that way when they're a keyed member, they know 6 people there and 6 people know who they are. So it's worked out pretty well for us.
And we track with cameras also, you
Yeah.
track as you log in and out.
The key system, I assume, keeps track of who is, you
Yes.
can look at the log probably and see who is in the building at any
Yes.
given time. So,
Yes.
okay.
And knock on wood, it's been 7
Very,
years.
very little things. So we had a wrench or something. A little $50 meter walked off, and we looked at the camera and talked to them. They brought it right back.
Just doing a little housekeeping.
Anybody from the public have any questions? Comments? Okay.
I moved to accept the
All right. We have a motion on the floor.
Somebody else already moved.
Yeah, well,
Okay, I'll second.
okay,
Whatever party
that's
else.
fine.
Yeah.
We have lots of motions and lots
We
of
have an extra
seconds.
10, 20 grand we can give them.
So Maddie, take your pick. All right, Bruce got it. So we have a motion and a second on the floor to accept staff's recommended action. Does anybody else have any further discussion on this matter? Not seeing any discussion. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion
abstain.
carries.
Of course you will.
Motion.
You notice I didn't object to it.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you got plans to visit, you know?
Can I go to my question now?
Okay,
Can I
guys.
go to my question now? Before you leave?
Yeah, and so Paul, go ahead now that we're out.
I was thrashing around on the Wichita website, which is usually what I do because I'm somehow or another never can find what I'm looking for there. Where do I go to find out what uses are permitted in what zoning districts? I spent an hour on there and never found it.
Well, if you just go to the Wichita main page,
Yes,
there's a ribbon across the top.
Yes.
Get information. You click on that and it pulls down primarily among the departments. Over on the right side, it will say Wichita Sedgwick County Planning Department.
yes.
Click on that and that will open up our webpage. If you go down, the zoning code is there.
All I ended up with was GIS stuff that
No,
meant nothing to me.
There's a button down there, it says Unified Zoning Code.
Okay, I need a
Click on
deeper
there.
drill. Okay.
And then you can read the 270-page document if you want.
Well,
I got a lot.
Sounds frivolous.
well, it sounds like you have plenty of time, so.
Already wasted plenty.
Okay.
I think that chart that kind of breaks the uses down by zoning is in, is.
Well, that's what I was looking for, was uses by right and certain. Okay, thank you.
Surely can search by.
Michael?
Well, I know that we've already passed it. Did you get any protests?
Not at all.
No.
No, as a matter of fact, yeah, they've went and they've talked to the neighborhood association. It was some great feedback, and so it's going to be, I think, a very good, nice asset to have
We had
them
an open
moving.
house for the neighbors. They were all very nice. They came in. A few have committed to join. So,
There are people from all over the city that will go.
we love the
To make
neighborhood.
ICT.
This thing is great. Yeah.
Okay,
That room to spread out.
so guys, we're going to move on to board agenda. We are having a record meeting.
Yeah, you can go now.
Thanks, Dave,
Thank you.
for being here.
Thank you.
Any reports from around the district in our neighborhood associations? We're just talking about the new neighborhood garden that was going in over in South Central area of town. They had some stuff on Facebook. If you guys don't remember, there was a cell tower that was going in on South Broadway, and they had donated the rest of the land not being used to a neighborhood garden, and it's large.
Yeah.
It's a big area. So the Soci Life Group and the South Central Neighborhood Association are putting in a new neighborhood garden down there on South Broadway, which is amazing, perfect place. I'll let you expand on it. I guess I should
Well,
have.
it's great, because Clear Talk gave us money to pay for the fence, and we used a neighborhood fence installer to do that, so it was great to support someone local. And then Clear Talk also provided the funding for our water, so we have water hookups there. And then we've had we've had students from Northfield School have come and volunteered many hours on Wednesdays and spread cardboard and then mulch, kind of as a weed barrier and a layer of compost. And then we've had 2 Saturday work days, and some folks from the neighborhood have turned up. And so it's been really fun just to be out there on the lot and see what conversations happen with people that pass by. And it seems like that it's important to be a positive presence on South Broadway. And it's great to just be there and be available.
Well, neighborhood gardens typically help fight crime and fight blight, and they really are a huge asset to the area. So I'm in such a heavily trafficked and urban area. It's going to be great to see the effect that this garden has.
Yeah, and people want to contribute. I mean, the first Saturday workday, a guy showed up and said, I just saw it on Facebook and I just want to help. And then he realized we needed big sheets of cardboard, and so he immediately brought 3 truckloads over the next 2 days to help. And so another person came by and offered more assistance, and so I think people have a lot to offer, and it's a way for them to do that.
Very good. Thank you, Catherine. Yeah. Anybody else have anything going on in their districts that they'd like to talk
This
about?
Saturday, the Southwest Neighborhood Association's having a free breakfast from 8 to noon. Everybody's invited. It's free. Biscuits and gravy and pancakes. We're at 2601. I mean, you know.
10:06.
Huh?
10:06.
10:06.
That's the 26th.
26.
All right, let's do that again.
It's over there.
Yeah, I think I went last year, but I can't remember what street I'm on.
It's on 26th Street,
26?
Off of Seneca.
off of Seneca.
Okay.
It's that brick building right there north of 26th Street.
What's the date and time again?
8 o'clock to noon, I think.
I think that's good.
On what day?
They do.
What day?
8.
So when's our district free
It's
breakfast?
coming Saturday.
So I thought.
So I will encourage everybody to go to the Southwest Neighborhood Association breakfast and then come to the District 3 breakfast, only half full, and get your fill of.
Same day?
It is. It's okay. It's okay. Get up early.
Check with your dietitian, you can probably pull it off.
But I did want to say anyway, and it's a good segue to the District 3 breakfast coming up this Saturday as well. You can go to both of them. The time works. The Riverfront Legacy Master Plan Coalition will be presenting their final design concepts for the district advisory board. I want all of the district advisory board members, if you can be there, to please be there. They weren't able to do their presentation tonight, so we're having them on Saturday. We will have minutes from the meeting, but I really need the public's feedback on the concepts that they're presenting. This is a group of private sector businesses that have put this whole coalition together. The city and the county did provide them some money to help with it, but they've raised over $1 million. By the way, Councilmember Fry, thank you for showing up today. Councilmember Brian Fry is here. We provided about 100,000 from the county, 100,000 from the city, but they raised over $1 million total, I believe. At least that was our goal. Was it close to 800? So the lion's share came from the private sector. The city of Wichita did not drive this cart at all. It was all driven by the private sector. So we need the public's feedback because the Riverfront Legacy Master Plan Coalition wants to present their plan officially to the city of Wichita. And I want to make sure that we have plenty of citizen feedback on the several, I think 6 or so scenarios, 5 or 6
So
scenarios.
this is where we go to race hell about tearing down Century 2?
Sure.
Be there.
Or
Is this the only meeting?
there are some people that are raising hell about tearing it down. Some
Well, I
are
never
raising
can.
hell about keeping it.
It's
So,
always at times when I can't be there, so I work this
Is
one
this
out.
the only opportunity to hear this report?
no, there have been several actually. They've had several community
It's
meetings.
just been at times when I'm at work.
You can have them come to your neighborhood association and present. They'll be happy to do that.
I'm gonna make my apologies. I just remembered I'll be playing Santa Claus's ball game from 7:30 to
Oh,
11.
Santa Claus, really? Why? I don't understand why.
It's a rough job, but somebody's got to do it.
But no, we'll have, we will have minutes from the meeting, and we'll have handouts, so you'll be able to see the, but
Okay, I'll talk to Maddie after the meeting.
that works. That works. And again, you can have them come to your neighborhood association.
And there's been an opportunity online to be able to go in and look at the different,
Yeah, they're posted on.
provide your feedback.
Yeah.
The 5 plans.
Riverfront Legacy Wichita.org.
Oh, thank you.
I would-
Riverfront Legacy.
To a meeting to at least provide
Okay.
feedback that way.
I chose Saturday being the 7th, is that correct?
That's correct, I'm sorry, I just did ready.
I was just making.
Another thing to drill down to. All right, got it.
But there's really a lot of community engagement and fellowship time on this Saturday coming up. I really would encourage you to go to the Southwest Neighborhood Association's breakfast. It really is good. Great pancakes, great biscuits and gravy, great everything over there. So,
Price is right.
and the price is right. So go to their breakfast and then come over on South Broadway and listen to the Riverfront Legacy Master Plan Group give their presentation.
And what time's that?
That is at 9.
I had down on my calendar, but I got override on
No, it's okay. Your neighborhood association
Is that in the newsletter?
president already got an earful from me.
Is that in the newsletter?
Do what? Yeah,
All
it
that
is.
information's in the newsletter?
It is in the newsletter, you bet.
Thank you. By the way,
Yeah.
you are faithful as clockwork. Thank you very much.
Maddie,
Well, yeah.
Maddie
On
is.
the-
You're faithful with the notes ahead of time. You're
Okay.
faithful with the
Yep.
newsletter. Thank you very much.
Gatorade.
Okay, moving on. That falls on me. Let's just keep on moving on. No, Maddie does an amazing job. Thank you, Maddie. We appreciate it. The other thing that we need to discuss is we have snacks over here that everybody needs to eat. So there are cookies over here. Get up when you get done here. Have cookies, please. That's an important thing to. The other thing is next.
Thanks.
There you go,
Oh.
guys.
Pass the box.
Next month.
Yeah, pass around the ones you don't like.
Very nice.
The January 3rd, the January District 3 Advisory Board meeting will be canceled next month.
Because it says Sherry's, and that's where we had our wedding cake, so I know they're good.
Okay, guys, listen up. I got one more announcement and then we'll be done. I should have waited on the cookies, I guess. The District 3 Advisory Board meeting next month will be canceled.
It's on New Year's Day.
It is on New Year's Day, and I'm sleeping in on New Year's Day. How about that?
Everybody in a really good mood.
Yeah. Or in a very bad mood, depending on what they did the night before. No, we're canceling it, and there will also be no District 3 breakfast for January. We will pick up and resume our normal schedule in February. Enjoy the holidays. Merry Christmas. I hope your Thanksgiving was good. Have a safe New Year. And Maddie has one thing. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I've talked with the police department about this a couple of times, but for those of us that live down on the outskirts.
You mean in the priority neighborhood?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
the four-wheelers and the ATVs have gotten really bad again
Mhm.
this year. And I know they get in down at that canoe park off of 71st Street
Mhm.
where it's legal,
Mhm.
because it's outside the city. It's legal down there.
Right.
That's not outside the city limits.
It's on the very edge.
That's Greenway Park. That whole thing is owned by the city of
Owned by the
Wichita.
city.
They're not supposed to be
Well,
down there.
that's where
So.
they're getting in, I'm fairly certain.
Kayak
Then they
launch, isn't
go-
it?
Then they
Yeah.
go up and down the river along the trails, and they, I get that the no trespassing signs are posted, but they get torn down, and the chains get torn down, and then we have, they come all the way as far north as 63rd, north of 63rd.
And the
all
drainage
way up
ditch is on 63rd. Yeah,
On 63rd, they
Yeah.
practically cross the bridge,
well, they do.
So the Corps of Engineers, obviously, the city of Wichita maintains that. They're not supposed to be there. If you see anything like that,
Oh, it happens 3 times a week.
then call 911 3
Yeah,
times a
anytime
week,
there's decent weather, they're out.
or get a hold of Maddie, and we will send someone out there if you see it happening.
I've been there 22 years, and the police department, they,
Well, if I am able to show a trend, then we can do some sort of special operations out there, but we have to show a trend. And so
I got a video of a kid running streets. in my
if we
neighborhood.
get several calls within a 2 or 3 week period, I have the ability to at least ask the police to do some special assignments out there. But it's going to be cooperation between you, me, and the police department.
and I don't
Sure.
want to rain on anybody's parade. I like to have fun just like other people do, but I mean, it's pretty it gets really noisy.
No, we need to work on that together then.
And then we've got the Black Malibu.
Yeah.
Haven't seen it in a while.
Yes, he's across the street.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Couple things. I got to do the compliment and then the shot.
I'm used to.
I did take advantage of the free dog and pony tour of the new ballpark.
Good.
It's fairly impressive. It's kind of cool. They have bathrooms and bullpens and stuff. So, it looks like not only going to be a good facility, but there's going to be room for people to walk in front of people who are sitting down without breaking their knees and stuff. That's kind of cool.
Lessons learned from the arena.
God, I'd hope.
Although,
But I still, in some situation, I'd like to have some sort of a confrontation where I have a ball bat, or something where I can knock some sense in the head of the people that come up with a god-awful name. That's a horrible name for a ball team. Thank you.
It is privately owned, correct?
I don't care. It's a
Not-
terrible name.
not that I haven't heard that the past few weeks. So I'm going to be.
I mean that sarcastically, by the way.
Respond to that.
Go ahead, because I will too.
Okay, the other day, Macintosh had on the radio all the names that Wichita had through the years. The bottom line comes down, it's no worse than any other name. They're still either gonna call it Wichita or Wichita Wind. Very seldom will you hear Wind Surge.
Oh, I hope I never heard it
I
again.
heard from a baseball enthusiast that they're gonna be known as the baby cakes, and they'll
No.
never get away from
No,
that.
that ain't gonna happen.
Wichita Wind Surge, it doesn't matter, it's gonna be called Wichita Wind. When they're announcing, they're gonna say Wichita, they're not gonna say
I kind of like when
So-
they give the presentation at the church in Wichita, whatever. That was as good as this.
So I'll answer that just briefly.
Yeah, okay.
And
I know, it wasn't your job to come up with a name.
well, regardless, I honestly think that the meaning behind the name and the logo is cool. I like it. I like that they're using McConnell Air Force Base as part of the logo with the Pegasus and the tanker. It's something new. It's something different that is Wichita that we don't take advantage of touting very much. And so a lot of people are just calling it the Wichita Surge. Some people are calling it Wind Surge. But I will tell you, at least I think there's a team in Connecticut that's called the Yard Goats.
Good Hands, you name it.
You know, you
Yeah.
go to any minor league baseball team, and minor league baseball teams just have quirky,
Yeah.
wild, weird names.
Okay.
So I think what happened with the name is exactly what they were hoping for. It got a lot
Everybody's
of
talking about it.
it got a lot of attention. So you know, I love my baseball team here in Wichita. Seriously, I'm a huge baseball fan, so you know, I'm kind of bought in probably a little bit heavily, but
I'm just disappointed it wasn't Flying Monkeys.
oh, well, that would probably fit too. Okay, anybody else have any comments?
I
Yeah,
went to the net,
oh, go ahead first. Yeah,
it was,
go ahead. Yeah.
I visited Nasser Park for the handicap, about 2 weeks ago. And it looked like they got everything, in order for the handicapped and the blind, be able to navigate through that park without any problem. The only problem we saw was there was a pool of water there that has no curbing on it. And we talked to the contractor where it wouldn't be any way for the sighted individual to know whether he's walking in the water or on the sidewalk, because there was nothing there to indicate a change in texture. The contractor said that this is set in stone and we wasn't gonna change it. I don't know whether anybody on your level, Mr. Clendenin, would wanna look at it.
So I'm taking a tour of Napsker Park tomorrow, and I will take a look at that.
My issue is, not this last summer, but, you know, we've been trying to conserve water and to recycle a lot of these pools. This is a non-recyclable pool. It is drained back into the area. And they said it's too expensive to put a recyclable pool in there, water fountains and stuff. But as a city, if we're trying to conserve water and we're making a fountain where it, in a park, and it's draining it off to the outside world, it don't seem like to be within the city grandfather clause or mandate where we try to recycle a lot of water.
Well, I'll just have to go look at it because I'm not familiar with it, but normally if we put a fountain in, and I didn't know we were putting a fountain in Napsker, but does it? Normally if we put a fountain in, they recycle the water with a pump, but.
This is not.
Research Lake.
Well, I'll talk to him about it tomorrow. We're taking the tour tomorrow, and I appreciate the heads up.
Well, James, I wanted to let the board know that I bought a ticket for the Wind Surge. I bought one of those season tickets. So I've made a full commitment, but I did, used to go to the Wing Nuts game. If you remember that name. And
It was almost as
we
silly.
had a good baseball team in Wichita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that people didn't really support that because they were a bunch of winners. And I hope the community gets out and really supports this group because we sure don't want this to fail.
Well, the interesting thing about minor league baseball, and first of all, the wonderful thing is it's AAA baseball, which means we're going to get some of the top prospects, major league prospects in Wichita playing. And honestly, we'll get prospects and major leaguers that are on rehab and that sort of thing coming through Wichita. I remember seeing the likes of Zach Greinke when he was pitching for, for the Royals, and he was, huge, in the Royals through Wichita back when the Wranglers were here, and so seeing some big name people come through here. Interesting thing about minor league baseball is the point of minor league baseball is to cultivate players for the major league teams. And so once the players get good, or if we have good players in Wichita, kind of honing their skills, they're going to be gone partway through the season, and which is neat. But it's also kind of interesting because then the team may not play as well anymore, right? So the whole point for having a minor league team isn't necessarily having a winning record every year, but I think the product that they're going to put on the field is going to be nice. The great thing about this stadium is that it's not just going to be a baseball stadium. That's only 70 some dates out of the year. It's going to be multi-use. They're talking about an ice skating rink. They're talking about concerts, football games for the high schools.
200 days a year.
There are so many uses for that space. So if Wichita just supports it, even if they don't like baseball, and other times, I think it'll be a big success. And then the development around it, the owner of the baseball team, who's also the developer, is developing a ton of public space along the riverfront, stuff that the city doesn't have necessarily the money to do or would have had to have financed. And so he's doing a ton of public space so people can enjoy the river and be down there. So when it's done, I think everybody will get a good idea what the scope is of the stadium and the development surrounding it. But I think it'll be supported at least for the first couple of years, right? Thanks,
I neglected
Dave.
to mention a couple, 3 things. Unobstructed sight lines. They made it quite clear that they were intending to have rationally priced tickets, and the concessions will be theirs. They won't be franchised or whatever. So
Right.
therefore, the claim is that they will be, again, popular prices.
Well,
No $9 sodas.
so Lou, the owner of the baseball team, really wants everybody to be able to afford to go to a game at least once a year. He actually is intentionally trying to keep the prices low, so when people come, they can enjoy at least a hot dog and a Coke while they're out there, right? And a lot of the seating, especially on the berms and some of the other seating, there'll be $9 tickets available, which is, for again, the product that they're going to put on the field, hopefully it'll be really good. So we'll see.
Real grass.
And it is real grass. I've been on it. It's nice. Anybody else? Richard?
Well, you're gonna hear me complain the next year and a half, buddy.
Okay.
Harry Street Bridge.
They shut Harry Street Bridge down.
It won't be a year and a half.
And that is the biggest pain when you're on this side and you gotta go 2 blocks on the other side.
So let me just correct something you said, the whole year and a half thing.
They said it'd be 21.
Well, okay. Well, I was told, yeah, boy, we should believe everything then that the news said.
Yeah, I don't believe anything the government says.
I saw it. That'd be true.
So I will verify the initial estimates for me from Public Works were 8 months. So if it is a year and a half, then I need to get that corrected. I guess the newsletter said a year and a half, and Public Works has corrected that. So
I think it depends on the barn swallows, whether they nest on the bridge or not.
Oh, no.
Well, honestly, if it overlaps with the migration of the birds, then yes, that'll stop construction for
Snail orders.
a short period of time. So, but
It's made me rethink my thinking on how I'm gonna do things because of that.
well,
You just shoot across.
I'll tell you. So the bridge was in desperate need of a full replacement,
Oh, I
but
agree.
I will tell you, it's progress for our area because the bridge is going to be gorgeous. It's going to be kind of a nice landmark.
My only complaint is it's gonna be 1 lane. That's my biggest complaint.
Yeah.
So
2.5
Why
lanes.
are we doing this? Why are we reducing lanes?
okay,
whatever.
so let me. No, it's not price. It's not price at all. So let me try to explain the way traffic engineering explained to me.
There you go.
So right now you have 4 lanes. The inside lanes are used for turning motions, and when people are trying to come from one direction and you're trying to turn, you're stopped anyway, and it's stopping the flow of the center 2 lanes. So you're in essence only have 2 outside lanes as through traffic anyway, or everybody just gets backed up waiting for someone to turn. Now it's going to be signalized. All of the turning motions will be released first through the bridge, and then the 2 outside lanes, once all the turning motions are done, all the 2 outside lanes will freely flow traffic, unobstructed from people trying to turn. So that, again, around the country, this is something that is being done because it alleviates backup in traffic, and it also makes turning motions safer.
Well, we put a
So-
roundabout in there.
Well,
21st and Broadway.
Yeah.
Just sit there for an hour and watch some traffic.
Terrible.
Yep.
so.
Well, there's a couple factors there. Harry, for all practical purposes, ends at Seneca. So I don't know how far you're gonna
No,
go.
you're wrong.
Said for all practical purposes.
So go where and watch the traffic, did you say?
21st and Broadway.
Where all the,
Trying to turn lane, trying to turn left, and the traffic is stopped because you only have 1 lane.
But
So-
there's no middle lane there.
There's no turn
There's
back.
a middle lane, but it's not long enough.
so there's also the plethora of railroad tracks that are there.
That's true.
There's a lot of other obstructions, and the traffic at 21st and Broadway is tremendously worse.
It's one
So-
of those, they took 4-lane roads and converted it down to 2 lane with turn lanes. And it's,
So if this ends up being a huge problem, we'll go back to traffic engineering and say, we told you so, and we're gonna have to
Well,
fix it.
30 years later.
We'll have to fix it, so.
Okay, well, Kellogg's open.
That being
You
said,
better go 40 miles an hour.
okay, guys, we're just kind of, we're directionless now. Any other,
Can I ask a
Comment.
question on the bridge?
That gentleman over there's been trying to
Yeah.
speak for the last 10 minutes.
sorry,
I was gonna mention something about the wind surge.
sure.
My daughter and her husband are season ticket holders for the LA or the Oklahoma City Dodgers. And they're looking very forward to bringing a bus up here from Oklahoma City to see the game against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So it's gonna bring people in from out of town.
Yeah, it actually, the AAA teams do, they travel pretty well, actually, so that'll
But
be,
you've got a lot of relocated Wichita people in Oklahoma City area.
Yeah.
And I was really surprised
Why's that?
when I went to this dinner with them, how many people were down there from Wichita. I worked with half of them, so, at Boeing, so. But yeah, I mean, it's got its pros and cons.
it does. Well, and it has its following, and it has people that won't like it. Not everybody likes baseball, but we're hoping that both, for those people that don't like baseball, with everything else there is to do around the stadium, that baseball being secondary is an okay thing, right? So,
James, I
For
got
sure.
one more quick thing.
Yeah.
You brought up speeding out there. You know my opinion on motorcycle cops.
Love
At
them.
nighttime, they're wearing black.
No,
I tell
They
you
have
what,
black
they
uniforms.
sit out there on Kellogg and they come out and you can't see them. And it is very dangerous. They need stripes on the sides of their pants and they need police on the back that you can see when the lights hit it. We need to spend the money. That's a safety item. I don't care.
yeah, I saw one on the canal route.
You know, if
the
you're
other day.
speeding,
They're
you're speeding,
invisible.
but when a cop comes out after you on black and you're not paying attention to begin with,
I will I promise, I will pass it on to the chief.
How much
There
was the
was
ticket?
one sitting at
I didn't
the
get
off
it.
ramp
Mhm.
or the off direction for Greenwich, standing there in front of his bike with a radar gun today, and I didn't see him until I was on top of him.
Right.
And he was just standing in there between the cones.
Dangerous.
Bruce?
Just for fun,
Yes?
if we're gonna make the cops put on reflective, then anybody that drives a stinking scooter in town should have to have on. Two, I'm done.
I'm with you.
We adjourn.
I'm on it.
We have a motion and a second for adjournment.
I got a question.
Thank you.
I got-
But before we adjourn, I want to talk real quick. I don't know that if everybody heard, but during this whole discussion about water and water rates, we did re-up the H2O program. So if you know if anybody's having a hard time paying their water bill or behind, or their water's going to get shut off, we have the ability to help those with a special fund that's set up through our water rates to help people. It's a one-time thing, but we've done that because we know sometimes people kind of get in the rears. So
Well, with that, at the neighborhood resource centers, anybody who received LEAP in 2019, if they come in, they'll fill out just a one-page application. That's all they have to do. They'll get $50 off their water bill. So if you know anyone who got LEAP in 2019, tell them to go to City Hall or Neighborhood Resource Center, and we will make sure they get $50 credit in January, February.
Are the rates just raising temporarily? That's
No.
a rumor going around.
No.
That ain't gonna happen.
no, so in 2012, the city council started addressing some of the extremely poor infrastructure issues that we were seeing. I don't know if you guys remember. I know that Dave remembers because I would get lots of calls from Dave about broken water mains, broken pipes in neighborhoods. We were not maintaining things. We just weren't, didn't have it in the budget to do, right? Well, so back in late 2011 or early 2012, we came up with something called COSA. It was a cost of service analysis for the Wichita Water Department. And we did an inventory of all of our infrastructure, put a budget together, and started raising water rates accordingly and getting all of that stuff under the ground fixed. There, not just that, but stormwater rates were also adjusted because we had a lot of stormwater issues as well, and improvements needed to be made. We've made tremendous strides, but now our main water plant's being replaced, and the water rates are going to continue to go to the infrastructure upgrades, but also now to the new Wichita water plant that's being built. On top of it, in 2020, they're going to start the process of replacing the main sewage treatment plant 2 down on South Hydraulic. It handles 2/3 of all of Wichita's wastewater. And so if that plant's fine, it's operating fine, but it's not meeting the EPA standards. And the EPA is requiring certain elements to be removed from water starting sometime in the future. I'm not sure when that date is, but we have to upgrade the plant to do that. While doing that, the plant will be upgraded to smell, there should be almost non-existent smell, actually. So if you drive by any of the new plants that have been constructed in Wichita, you don't smell a thing around them. So technology is such now that that's something that can be remediated, and I think a huge portion of South Wichita is going to be very grateful in the next 3 to 5 years when we get that built. So the water rates are also going toward that project as well. So none of those water rates go to the city's general fund. We don't commingle those funds. If we have a surplus of money at all, like if we have a surplus of cash, we use that cash to pay for projects instead of debt financing them, which saves money in the utility. So we have some pretty smart guys. Ben Nelson is the expert. We ought to probably have Ben come and speak sometime about water rates and what all that's going to, but we're doing a lot to make sure we're just responsible at replacing infrastructure. I'm not going to throw anybody in the bus, past electeds in the past, but honestly, this council has had to bite the bullet and do the hard thing, and raise rates, knowing that we're raising them on ourselves too. We're not just raising them and it doesn't affect us, you know, so, but I'd rather people get a little bit upset about paying $2 or $3 more on their water bill than them calling me and turning the water on and nothing coming out, or flushing the toilet and nothing going away.
We had
So.
Brian's money, it wouldn't be a problem.
You're not looking at me.
I miss you on the radio, Dan.
Councilman Fry, anything you want to say?
I think you captured it well.
Okay.
I did, just out of curiosity.
And I do recognize we have a motion and a second
Oh,
to
okay.
adjourn.
Well, but then let's do it after you've adjourned.
Well, no.
It's just a question.
We're in any further discussion.
Okay, fine. Speaking of water rates, is there a number that's readily available that, let's say, the average single family, no pool, no sprinklers, 2-bedroom home would probably expect to be their water bill currently?
There is,
And
there's,
that number is approximately.
the minimum
The
is,
low was, for a low use, it was $2.10 per month, and for a medium, it was like $3.28.
Plus sewer tax, plus something else,
This
plus
was total. This is
under $5.
yes.
correct. The high end user was like 5 something.
So 5% of $5 is a quarter?
No, five, go ahead.
The $2 was the average monthly increase.
in the bill.
Oh,
Could expect
okay,
with
okay,
the 5%
okay.
increase.
Okay, fine. $2. And the TV, bless their hearts, has to go out there and find the tornado victim. Well, I'm on low income. I'm gonna have to choose between food and drugs and water. You know what?
Never mind.
What did you
So,
say?
No, we're moving on.
See, that's why I should have done after we adjourned.
So for everybody at home, if you're enjoying this conversation,
Got overwritten there.
go ahead.
I'm just kind of curious about the shot detectors. Have they been put up?
They have
Oh.
been, that pilot project has been going. I need to actually talk with the chief and get an update on how that's going.
Well, in my neighborhood, they don't work.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you expect them to stop the shotting or what?
No, I just
Shooting?
expect them to be able to locate them.
Oh,
Okay.
I can pretty much tell because of the way my house sits and because of the location of where I'm at. I can kind of tell where they're coming from, and they're increasing.
You know where
So-
I'm coming from.
So no, just know this, the shot detections that we were piloting was a new technology, and so they're tweaking it. If they're not working well, I'll find out what percentage of shots they're actually catching. I'll get some data for
Just
you
make
guys.
sure you let them know that they're not
Absolutely.
working in my neighborhood.
Absolutely. We'll let them know, for sure. Okay?
Can I call for the question?
You
Yes,
can,
please do.
absolutely, Dave. Yeah.
I'll call- yes.
Right, you have to call the vote.
That's for the vote. I'll-
Oh, absolutely. All those in favor of adjourning saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Wow.
See you in